today we are I am going to be playing Slay the Princess, which is a very cool game. Heard a lot of very good things about. Uh, I'll talk about very cool game. Very excited to play it. Um, but before we get started, there are a lot of content warnings I want to go over for this game because this is a very dark game. If you've not heard of Slay the Princess, it is a um, horror like story experience. Um, that it's got a lot going on, you know. I first heard about it because I am a huge fan of the Magnus Archives, horror fiction podcast. Very good podcast made by Rusty Quill. You should all go listen to it. Like Eldritch horror, like that kind of stuff. Um, and I heard about it, and I originally thought that um, Rusty Quill, the company that makes Magnus Archives, making it. I was like, oh, that's super cool. I didn't know they were branching into video games. It's not. It's made by a group called Black. This is the general list of content warnings. Uh, this is kind of the stuff that's going to be going on. There is a lot going on. Clearly, there's a lot fucking going on. Uh, it's a horror game. It's a psychological horror game. It's a very like fucked up game. So if you do not want to watch any of that, do not. And I will attempt to remember to put in like notes for myself to remember when uh certain big things might happen, like if we see the realistic severed head, um so that I can note it in the description and be like, hey, if you're chill with most things but want to skip over this, hear this. But I'm not gonna be able to do that for everything. uh there's a lot, as you can see, and if a lot of it or most of it doesn't seem like something you're into, recommend watching a different video. This is a scary video. Um, Scary video game. Now, I am excited to get into it. I'm gonna switch us over to this one. The game screen. I have my water bottle. I have a cup of mucho mango, by Arizona. I'm ready. We got this. Let's unmute the fucking thing. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Let's just. I'm just gonna like get into it and see how far I get, because I want to. And I'm very excited about it. I've been wanting to play this game for a minute.
Your Honor, you're here to slay her. If you don't,
That's
it will
Jonathan
be the end of the world.
Okay. Path in the woods. The end of that path is a cabin. The basement of that cabin is okay. Okay. I want to explore. I know this is a visual novel story game. I don't know what all of it means. I don't really know what I'm going to be seeing. Yeah, let me go on. Back. Be back. Okay. I would like to explore. There, that may be the only and the world.
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
Okay. Locked in and end the world. If you don't tell me why she's dangerous, I'm gonna kill her. I want to know. I want to follow this path.
Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you.
You considered that maybe the only reason she's gonna end the world is because she's locked up?
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock.
I do know that this game...
Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up.
Sure, Mr. Nero. Sure.
And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that.
Well, I like that the cursor's in that cloud.
It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything.
I see why Mr. John would want a voice for this. This is very...
Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Slay. Look, I'll go to the cabin and I'll talk to her. Bad as you say, then maybe I'll slay her. But I'm not committing to anything until I've had the chance to meet her face to face.
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies.
Sure.
And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out. Then each and every one of us is doomed.
I totally...
So sure, go talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us.
For sure, yeah.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
I like that we talk to them.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Meta. Guess I'm going into the cabin. I don't think there's much else I can do. No, I'm gonna do a lot of that, I think. Actually, I'm probably gonna do one full playthrough, like go through...
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Can't have it.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
I feel like I'm being gaslighted, manipulated. Oh, I'm holding the knife. My stabber.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
What if you're the manipulation, Mr. Narrator? What about that?
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
Everyone is trying to master manipulate.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
Kill him.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Could be. Decided yet.
How about you drop the knife and the two of us just talk?
No.
Look how reasonable she's being. We should just drop the blade and talk things out. Don't you dare.
We're fighting.
It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
I'm gonna hold
You
the knife.
ignore the trembling in your hands
My
and
knife.
tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
Okay.
You step
Girl.
forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your
I want to
resolve.
stab her already.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it.
Yeah.
So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this. You go into this expecting to die. You're going to die.
I guess that's.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other?
I will talk to you. I'm holding the knife.
Then I'm not talking to you.
Okay, then we have a problem. Exactly.
I guess we are.
For the love of everything, just slay her already. Or drop the blade. Do something.
I do kind of want to know what happened. I'm gonna save here. See what happens when I press this button. I'm gonna do the thing. This was I did not think it was gonna be this easy.
You charge the princess, blade
Oh.
trembling in your hand, but you've already lost the battle. She casually sidesteps your thrust before knocking you to the ground with a single blow from her
I
elbow.
fucked it. I done fuckled it.
We shouldn't have hesitated.
But she doesn't stop there. She kicks you
That's
a
my
few
hand.
times for good measure, the pointed tip of her shoes feeling like a pickaxe against your
Mhm.
fracturing bones, making sure you stay down. As you lie, crushed and broken on the basement floor, the princess kneels on your throat with the kind of weight you didn't think her slight frame could possibly possess. As you gasp for air, she eyes you with an intense curiosity.
I stay.
You shouldn't have let that fear creep into your heart. You had the upper hand,
What the fuck? Oh,
and now look at you.
fuck. Oh,
Is this really the
Oh.
best you could do? Look at you. Completely broken. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed.
a little spooky.
She applies more pressure, slowly squeezing what's left of your life out of your lungs. This is the
definitely-
end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die.
We are 15 full ass minutes into this game, and I've already died. Oh, I'm in the tower. I don't know what that means. Hold on, I didn't get that.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Hold on. Went too fast. I didn't get to that. You've been here.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
I still am not sure I believe you. I do think she.
Again?
I
People
did.
don't die twice. You haven't even met the princess, and I hardly think she'd be capable of killing someone as skilled and courageous as yourself.
That's nice. No, I appreciate it.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. What does it matter what he knows? There's nothing we can do to stop her. She's just going to kill us again.
No.
She is not going to kill you unless you let her. But slaying the princess and saving the world is going to be much more difficult than it has to be if you spend the whole time second-guessing yourself.
Okay.
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me.
Of course we died. We couldn't land a single blow on her, and she broke every bone in our body before she decided to let us die.
Pretty bad. Pretty rough.
What were we supposed to do to stop her then? What are we supposed to do to stop her now? It's pointless.
She's just a princess. Slaying her shouldn't have been difficult, but congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right.
Okay.
And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. The princess killed us and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me.
Time loops are fucked up.
Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died?
Earth, the world, kaboom?
Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would?
Probably that one.
If she ended the entire world, why should we even bother? We might as well just walk up to that cabin, break her chains, and let her do whatever she wants. It's all
Just because she's capable of ending the world doesn't mean you're not capable of slaying her. Both of those things can be
I
true
am
at the same
capable of
time.
slaying, that is true.
So chin up. I believe in you.
Not slaying that much right now. I am a little bit in a back brace, falling while rock climbing, and back a little bit. A little bit. I did break my back 2 years ago, also at like around the same time. Or not my back. I broke my leg. That was much worse. This is better. I'm chilling. I just have a broken back again. I want to rock bad. I want to rock climb so bad. Let's go to the cabin. I would like...
A warning
Oh?
before you go any
I would
further.
like that.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't
I
believe a
believe-
word she says.
A little bit.
we might as well just pledge ourselves to her and stop pretending we're capable of doing anything in this situation. She probably
Hello?
doesn't even need to try to overpower us.
There is something about this kind of story, this vibe, and like specifically a British accent for me, more fun. Maybe that's because I am American and not have a British accent. It's fun though.
Can we tone down the pessimism just a smidge?
I agree, Mr. Hero Guy.
I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just being realistic.
That's what they all say, but you are being pessimist.
You're being annoying.
You.
Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do,
How many
don't
voices I got?
pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely catastrophic that would be for everyone, yourself included. I agree. If she's wrongfully imprisoned, then we should rescue her, but if he's telling the truth, we shouldn't just hand her the world on a silver platter. Rescue her? Given the stakes of the situation, there isn't really a difference between rescuing her and pledging yourself to her. Either would be terrible.
Okay.
So please try to ignore both of those knuckleheads and focus on saving the world. Let's not make this harder than it has to be.
Into
If
the
that's
cabin.
what you want, I guess I don't have a say here.
No, 'cause you're. I want to go in the cabin. I want the knife. Kill. For this time.
The interior of
Whoa.
the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
This is different.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Why do we feel so small?
We don't feel small. We are small.
True, this place is very large.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's the altar, the blade sitting on the altar, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror.
You are lying.
There isn't.
You are lying.
Who cares if there's a mirror? We're all going to die anyway. And I'm sure that if we looked in there, we'd just see something sad and miserable looking back at us. We don't need any reminders of what we are. It would only make things worse.
Depression, the narrator, and the man.
For the last time, you're not going to die unless you let it happen. And luckily for you, there isn't a mirror, so no one needs to worry about confronting a grisly visage any time in the near future.
I am going to confront a grisly visage right now.
For what it's worth, if there were a mirror, I'm sure that you wouldn't find anything sad or miserable in it looking back at you. You probably look perfectly normal. Probably. Do you not know what we look like?
He knows. He just doesn't have the heart to tell us.
Be true.
As do I. And yeah, there is. I'm not lying to you. Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? Let you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done.
Yes, I have to make sure I am slaying before I can go slay. Understand me. To the mirror.
Walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall.
I got claws.
I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
Grabbers.
We should count ourselves lucky. Some things are better left unseen.
Sure. Pretty scared.
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess.
My little marker that says Death 1 at 15 minutes into this game would like to beg to differ. Words are good. Good words. I got them, I promise.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from below. For a moment, you almost feel at ease.
This is actually kind of nice.
It's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her booming voice rolls up the stairs.
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on the stairs. Come down and witness me.
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. She wasn't like this last time. We need to get down there. She wants us to see her. We need to see her.
Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago you were going on about how pointless everything was. Now you want to go down there.
This is the one that has a bite.
It doesn't matter what
This
that
is
little
Mr.
voice
Manipulator.
says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess. Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the weak starlight, her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist to the far wall.
Why am I so small?
The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
Oh.
The little bird has returned to me. I wonder what he wants.
I'm a burp?
You brought that knife again, even though you know it's useless. Such charming audacity. Drop it.
As if on command, the blade slips from your grasp.
But
It
I
clatters uselessly to the floor.
bad.
But we didn't drop it. We decided to grip it tighter, remember? Are you really just going to let that happen to us? I have a duty to report facts as facts, and the fact is that you dropped the blade.
Of course we dropped it. She's so much more than us. You wouldn't understand what it feels like to be in her presence.
Oh, I understand what's going on, and you'd better snap yourself out of it.
Kneel.
I don't want to.
Oh, are you still trying to defy me? I said kneel.
Your legs buckle, and your knees hit the floor.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk?
Don't talk to me like that.
The last time we met, you couldn't even scratch me. And yet here you are again, trying to succeed where you've already catastrophically failed.
That's like the definition of insanity, right?
What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death?
That's actually how talk.
Speak.
The last time we met? I suppose that lends credence to our conversation in the woods.
I'm
Still,
not
whatever
crazy.
you do, don't tell her why you're here. It's best not to give her any ideas.
No.
Perhaps you need another lesson in submitting to your betters.
Maybe. Maybe. What is it?
Pick up that needle.
Do it. It's what
No.
she wants.
No objections here. I don't know what she's planning, and I don't like that we don't know what she's planning, but we might as well pick up the blade.
Right, yeah.
As your eye falls on the blade, you feel a weight. Some divine hand that sits unperceived by your senses, but that manages to push you towards its desires like an unseen puppeteer. You reach forward and grasp the blade.
Stand.
This one's easy. See?
Kind
This
of.
isn't so bad.
Okay,
Or-
yeah. We can do that. We
Not
were
it.
probably going to stand anyway.
Oh no, everyone's
You
agreeing
can
with
feel
it.
a creaking tension between body and will as you slowly rise to your feet, like two foes forced into an unhappy truce. The princess eyes you with soft contemplation. The moment seems to last a lifetime, the silent anticipation of what's to come dragging out the long, painful seconds. But all silences are broken eventually.
True.
To defy me is to claim we stand on level ground.
That's
We do not. You are quiet shadow, while I am brilliant radiance.
but your eyes are pitch black with a little white dot.
Take that knife in your hand and slit your throat.
What?
What?
You don't have to listen to her. You're armed. Just steel your nerves, step forward, and end this.
Oh, we'll end this all right.
Your hand lifts the blade and brings it towards your throat. Okay, I apologize for the unclear language. End her.
I agree.
Your body is sluggish and unresponsive, actively fighting against you, but you do your best to stagger forward. One step at a time, you move towards the princess.
Slitting your throat would have been a mercy, but it seems you're in need of a harsher lesson. Plunge that knife into your lungs.
My lungs?
I'm sorry.
Don't! As you take another step forward, the blade digs into your ribs, slicing through flesh with ease. It somehow feels like an entirely natural thing to do, while the simple act of walking has become an arduous impossibility. Then it slides back out, the wound burning as a small hiss of air escapes through the fresh orifice. Blood fills your lungs.
Now, do it again. Again, and until I give you permission to stop.
Those are just words. You don't have to listen to her.
Great.
It's what she wants.
You, heroic one, what are you doing? Don't just let this happen. Stop him from killing you. I'm on it. Your other hand locks around your wrist, struggling to keep it from perforating vital organs. But the blade still flails towards you, managing to slice bits of skin that plop to the floor to join the growing pile of blood and gore beneath you. Despite the pain, you manage to keep yourself in one piece, at least for now.
Animation.
What a pitiful display. A wounded little bird thinking it can defy a god. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to hurt so much. You can choose a gentle end. You can choose to leave that punctured vessel for the next.
Play the princess.
Or you can pathetically struggle against yourself until the floor of this temple is painted with the bloody impressions of your futility.
I'm gonna do that one.
You continue to approach the princess, even as the repeated gouges of your blade expose bone and muscle to the open air of the basement. You know, this would be a lot easier if you gave us a hand. My influence only goes so far, and I can only juggle so many things at once. The best I can do right now is to continue to drive you forward. Believe me, this whole ordeal would be so much easier if I didn't have to contend with free will.
You're the one making things difficult. You're the one making us hurt. She doesn't want to hurt us. She's just doing what she has to.
Stop.
As you finish crossing the room, you fall to your knees at the princess's feet, your chest heaving as your blood pools in the crevices of the stone floor, the coppery taste coating your throat. The princess kneels down, lifting your chin with her finger as her face lowers to yours.
I'm so small.
Your devotion is misplaced. You've surrendered to delusion. But something about your defiant spirit speaks to me. You are different than you were before. Perhaps, if you've learned your lesson, I can spare you from the release of death. There's a place at my side for you, if you'll have it. Not as an equal, but as something worthy to be kept. A priest, perhaps, or a pet.
Well, that's the meaning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, how thoughtful of her. It's a mercy. Take it. I think he's given up whatever say he had at the start of all this. At least one of you is sane. She's within striking distance, and she's only negotiating now because she knows you have what it takes to put an end to her. Seize the moment before it's too late.
I feel that the narrator also a little bit stupid. I think he's a little bit dumb.
No. Yes. Though your body trembles, struggling to defend itself in the face of the princess's overwhelming will, you finally manage to break through, darting to her side before she can react. The wind of your freedom rushes through you, and you channel it into a decisive blow, stabbing into the soft flesh of her ankle and severing the tendons in an act of unyielding defiance.
Hey.
She falls to the floor, crashing unceremoniously to her knees. But you don't give her any time to recover. Your heart pounding with determination, you plunge your blade into her chest. As you find your target again and again, she laughs, crude emotion breaking through her once stony composure as your blade cuts her flesh. We can do this, can't we? You always could. The decision to give you this task was not made lightly. You're here for a reason.
It's not too late to pick up the pieces. It's not too late to toss that blade aside and beg for forgiveness.
I think it so is, though.
Shut up.
I can't believe you would actually strike me. You
heathen! You worm! You defiler! You don't know the consequences of your arrogance!
Before you can strike the final blow, the princess lashes out, knocking you off your feet. There's an unsettling wet pop as your spine breaks, numbness and pain spreading through your body. As you rebound towards the ceiling in a moment of disorientated lightness, she drives her fist into your chest. Your body is crushed as she pulverizes you into the floor, the ground itself breaking from the impact. You lie there, broken, beyond pain, unable to even see what she's done to you. But the princess is succumbing to her own wounds as well. She looks down upon her body in abject horror and disgust.
You made me use my hands. I can feel myself twisting into something new, something dull, something defiled. What have you done to me?
You're monsters and conspirators. I can't bear to watch this. The princess has been nothing but cruel to you. You should feel liberated by her fall.
But I don't feel liberated. I feel empty.
Aside from the pain, I feel fine. She collapses to the floor. Her glassy eyes watch, unblinking, yet somehow still full of anguish and fear, as the two of you perish together.
I suppose we were never gonna get a happy ending here, were we?
Don't let those be your final thoughts. You saved the world. That's worth something.
What?
I guess. Regardless of how you feel about it, it's finally over. Thank you. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Whoa. Ooh. There's another chapter. Okay. I'm planning.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of the path... Okay, what the hell is that?
Not. You're sad.
I think he's upset. And what's he got to be upset about? We just killed a god.
4 voices. 4 voices in that. 4.
Exactly. You heathens destroyed the most beautiful thing that ever was, ever will be.
Hell.
You're damn right we did. And you'll get over it. I can't say I have much sympathy for you. She was bad for us and you almost got us killed.
It happened.
You're being too generous. He did get us killed. Alright, enough chatter. Got a thing I'm supposed to do, and if you don't mind, I'd like to do it without any more interruptions.
Harry.
Okay, great, you're listening. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a... If your thing is telling us about the princess, don't waste your breath. We know all about her. It's hardly a path in the woods at this point, is it? Well, this is just great. Let me cut to the chase. Clearly you've already been here. Yeah, you think?
Actually, I don't think we have been here. This is all different, isn't it?
Yes, precisely. And if you'd given me 2 seconds to finish my thought, I would have said that. Oh, you're actually letting me talk now. Great. If you've already been here, it means you've seen things you aren't supposed to have seen, and you know things that you aren't supposed to know. This doesn't look like a path in the woods if reality seems distorted. It's because reality is distorted. So you knew this could happen. You knew we'd be able to restart like this. I know all sorts of things, which is why you should listen to me.
Okay.
That's not really an answer. Look, if the world around you is changing, especially all the way out here, then that means you're nearing the point of no return. Whatever happens next, that's
Okay.
it. There won't be any more do-overs. So you'd better take things seriously.
3 chapters is what I'm getting that it's about 3 chapters.
I can't. Anything I say at this point is far more likely to accelerate the unraveling of this place than it is to actually help you do your job.
Okay, but like...
In fact, I probably shouldn't have even said that.
Okay, but like...
I trust that if you've been here before, it means you know how dangerous she is, and that you know I'm not lying to you about her. Really? That's it? That's all we're getting out of you?
Pragmatism,
He just wants to keep things going the way they
sad
are.
depression.
But we've been given a
And also
second
obsessed.
chance to do right by her. She can build something better than this. She can build something better than us. We just have to
Like-
let her do it.
I get it. You're conflicted. You've been through a lot, but I really have to be firm here. I will tell you one thing, which is that even now you are capable of stopping her and saving the world from ruin. You always have been, and you always will be.
I like that.
Do
it's
with that
kind
what
of-
you will.
It's kind of motivational. Yeah, I want to see this. I want to go into the cabin.
Good.
We'll,
We're all on the same.
we'll be back.
It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the path, staring up at the cabin on the hill. You'll find the princess within, as I'm sure you already know.
True.
That's it? No final words of advice? I'd rather not waste any more time. I'm sure that any advice I'd give at this point is something you've already heard.
If there's still a princess at the cabin, maybe we can salvage things. Maybe if we just grovel and apologize, things can go back to how they were before.
Oh, cut it out, will you? We need to be tough right now.
Me.
You're making it so much harder than it has to be, so stop whining.
Into the cabin. Oh fuck, is it in there?
The interior of the
Oh.
cabin is a place that feels long forgotten. There was once an elegance to its construction, carved marble columns holding
Flash.
a high arched roof,
Lot of flash.
vaulted
Very
windows
good.
letting in the weak starlight.
Cool.
But that is how it was. Now there is a growth that has overtaken it. A viscous fluid seeps from cracks in the stone walls, and it congeals into chaotic streaks of writhing nerves and wet clumps of living meat.
I agree.
That's
it
horrible.
does do that.
You did this.
No.
The only furniture of note is a pulsating pedestal, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Of the
A mirror? There is no mirror. I don't know what to tell you. There isn't a mirror because I would know if there was a mirror.
We've done this already. Try to keep up. Repetition. Add to me.
What are you trying to say exactly?
He thinks we've lost it, that we're succumbing to madness, that something in us has broken.
Like you are the broken.
That's an unnecessarily melodramatic way to describe a hallucination, but sure. I'm not going to waste time arguing with any of you. It went away after we touched it last time. Let's just do it again. You take the blade from the pedestal. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
I enjoy that some things are the same.
Good. Nothing feels better than gripping cold steel.
Cool. The mirror.
You step forward and approach the door to the basement, hesitating before you open it. As if you don't see it. You really don't, do you? How strange. It really is just like last time. Are we really hallucinating? Why here? Why now?
Smash it. Smash it to pieces. It's the only thing keeping us from her.
Don't you want to know what we'll see in there? We won't be able to see anything if we
I won't
smash
sit
it.
in there.
Nah, I'm with him on this one. Smash it! Let's get violent
Not
already.
stubborn. Aggressive.
Do whatever you want with it. The mirror isn't real, so how you handle it doesn't matter, aside from wasting dangerous amounts of time. You reach forward and drag your hand across the door leading to the basement. As if on command, it slowly
Yes, here
slides
again.
open, scraping against the stone floor, its ancient hinges moaning as it reveals the dim path ahead. Why am I not surprised? You step forward into the darkness. The stairs leading down to the basement are at once both narrow and grandiose. A high vaulted ceiling stretches up into a gloom beyond your sight, while walls wet with tumorous growths press in uncomfortably at your sides. You feel both unprotected and trapped, at once exposed and claustrophobic. The air is thick, its odor an oppressive violence, the metallic scent of fresh blood twisting with the nauseating embers of charred remains. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice, a bellowing rage, roars up the stairs.
Was severing the tendons of my ascension not enough for you? Was it not enough to rend my divine heart? Come, see the horrors you've wrought upon my flesh, and feel my hands set upon your throat.
Oh, she's aggressive this time.
She's so angry with us. Why? Why did you desecrate her? Why couldn't I stop you?
To see what happened.
You've got to stop thinking about her like that. It isn't doing anyone any good.
Toxic.
She's not some untouchable god. She's
Really?
an abomination. And we're going to put an end to her once and for all.
Killed her last time. So
Whatever she is now is our fault. If she's an abomination, then what does that make us?
It doesn't matter what we are. She needs slaying, and we've got the means to do it, so let's get a move on. If I might interject, you didn't make her into an abomination. She's always been what she is. It's why you're here, and it's why your task is so important. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. The chamber's walls are painted in blood, a deep, sickening red that drips down in clotted streams onto the charred corpses that make up its floor. This place reeks of torment, of ripped skin and burning bone.
oh,
The princess stands in its center, muscles flayed and bare and weeping, draped in a tattered dress of her own skin. Her heart beats from its place in her open chest.
Do you know what I'm going to do to you?
harder. I like your bone keels made of your own.
There's not so much a moment of hesitation before she steps forward. Her chains pull taut, holding fast as she strains against them. The cuff around her wrist digs deeper into her skin. Blood drips from the place where metal meets flesh. And then, with a nauseating sound, the skin tears. It plops to the ground, and she pulls her
Probably
red,
bad for us
glistening
again.
arm free from her bindings. She is loose, and she is coming for you.
Let her end it. It's the punishment you all deserve for what you did to her. It's the punishment I deserve for letting it happen.
Screw that, we can win. We've done it before and we'll do it again, only this time we'll make it out the other side. Hell, she's practically done most of the work for us.
You have so much optimism. I love that for you. I am going.
You'll try. And that's what I've been so excited for. Let's hurt each other.
Not what I expected.
Your heart free of fear, you charge towards the princess, your eyes locked on each other, both of you prepared to lay down your very essence in one blow. It's now or never. Let's make it a beautiful blaze of glory.
Great.
With a horrifying squelch, you are unwound.
I hope you weren't planning on dying. We're going to make this last forever. Huh. I feel cold. I've never felt cold before.
Character growth. Where'd she go?
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now? There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should. Screw the mirror. We just need to find the princess. I don't want to look at us. He is. Does that mean the world ended? The world didn't end. We're still here. Come on.
This
We
is
just
like
need to
a-
keep going.
Figures the world would end and leave us with all this nothing.
You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing. It's like it's mocking us.
I feel anxious. Does anyone else feel anxious? I'm begging you, don't do this.
There's no other option, bud.
It's different now. It feels, I don't know, final.
Is one of the ethics. I do know this game has a bunch of different endings. Silence. They're gone. The mirror remains. Time for you to sleep in it. Gross. Ew. You're alone in a place that is empty. It's quiet here. Lead to the cabin. You were at the cabin.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel. How can the world have ended if we are talking? You are familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness, longing, hope as I witness you. Yes, nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond, perspectives to make my own. This one is desecration. She placed the weight of her agony on you, yet it is she who unwound herself.
Interesting.
But there is passion and empathy in her misery. She will make for a burning heart. Do not mourn her. She has finally found peace. I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you? I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks. You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
I see.
I know only that they are. I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free. Nothing, as we are, but I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
That's like the overarching story of the whole thing, is do the things to get her things so we can stop time looping.
Everything. I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
Cool. So this thing that we're talking to is all of these hands, not the princess.
More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home. Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow.
Bad.
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
Cool. I'm gonna wait.
If you need time, then I'll wait with you. You are as I am now, and forever is a long time to remain undone. I am not you. but I know that I would return before forever was finished. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage. You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
What? The game did not crash. That was on purpose. Cool. Okay. Had to fix the audio, but we're back. Make me forget.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Cool. Yeah. He won't. I will. Okay. That is where I'm going to end this episode. That was super cool. I expected a little bit of it. I'd seen like a couple screenshots, and obviously I've seen like the Steam store page. But I did not expect that kind of stuff. That was really cool. For this session, we got an unwound vessel, bring the fury to her. So I'm assuming we can bring her different like emotions, and the body. It's you. It's you. It's always been you. I will see you in the next episode. Have a good one, guys.